Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Marie.
And this is Gabby.
And for this short video, I'll talk about a really important Git command that you should know by heart, especially if you're working with remote repositories. So, say for example, you're a tester or you're a junior developer, joining a brand new team, and they want you to push some changes or add new feature into a remote repository that they have already. Now, in order for you to do this, you need to really know how to use this important command, and that command is called git push. I'll also briefly talk about the git pull command for getting the latest changes from your remote repositories. To get started, I have this existing GitHub repo, which is a sample project that I've created to demonstrate how to catch basic accessibility issues. I'll add the link in the description box down below so you can clone it easily. To clone this project, I'm going to click the code button, and you can see that there are 3 options present on how to clone this repo. The number of options displayed will depend if you have GitHub CLI installed or not, which is something that I can cover in the future. On previous videos, I've shown how you can clone a GitHub project using HTTPS. For this demo, I'm going to clone this repo via SSH. You might wonder what is the difference between HTTPS and SSH. So from Git perspective, Git uses several protocols for transmitting data between their clients and servers. HTTPS and SSH are secure protocols that are used by Git. They both provide a reliable and secure connection to communicate to GitHub repositories. The difference lies with how the authentication works. With HTTPS, it's password-based authentication, while SSH uses public key encryption-based authentication. Now, in order to clone this repo by SSH, you need to set up a public SSH key, which needs to be added to your GitHub account. GitHub Docs has a really great instruction set up on how to do this, so I'll add this in the description box as well if you want to follow these step-by-step instructions. I've already set up my SSH key, so I'm going to go ahead and copy the SSH URL for my GitHub project and switch to my terminal. To clone this, let's type git clone followed by the SSH URL. Let's go inside this directory by typing in cd followed by the project name. To create a new branch, I'm going to use the git switch command and give it a name of new-branch. Let's load the project in VS Code and make some new changes in the README file. A README file uses the Markdown format, and it uses a lightweight syntax for formatting plain text. So, for example, to show that something should be a heading 1, we use 1 hash symbol. For heading 2, we use 2 hash symbols, and so on. I'm just going to add additional instructions here on how to run the test that I have written in this project. Switching back to my terminal, let's go ahead and stage and commit the changes by using git commit. Remember that you need to pause in -a if you also want to stage it at the same time. Typing in git log, I can see that my commit has been added successfully in the git history. Now, if I want to push this change that I've just made, I need to use git push, so let's type git push and press enter. When doing that, I'm presented with this message that the current branch has no upstream branch. What does this mean? An upstream branch is simply a remote branch with the same name that is hosted in a remote repository such as GitHub. At this point in time, the remote repository has no clue yet what new branch is, so that's why it's giving us this error. So I'm just going to copy this command, hit enter, and you should see that my local branch has now been pushed to GitHub. If I switch over to my GitHub repo page, there's a pull request option for my new branch, which contains the new change that I've just done locally. Now, imagine a scenario where there's other people from your team who also made some changes in their local machine. How can you pull their changes so you can also have it locally? I'm going to mimic this by creating another branch from the GitHub UI. Just imagine that this is actually a branch created by another developer from your team, and just imagine that they've pushed some new changes in one of the other files. Now, to pull their latest changes, you just need to use the command git pull. This command will pull the new branch, so you can also have a look at their changes. In most cases, this shouldn't give you any conflict, especially if the changes are in different files. The complexity occurs when Git tries to pull a change but detects a merge conflict, which is something that I'll cover in the next video. For now, we don't have any conflicts. Typing in git branch, you can see here that another test branch is not listed yet. So where is the branch that you just pulled? Well, to see it, you should check the branch out first or switch to it. I'm going to use the git checkout command followed by the branch name. You can also use git switch instead of the git checkout command. Since we have switched to this branch, my local changes that I've added in this README file is now gone because it hasn't been merged, so other branches will not be aware of this change as of yet. Okay, now I'm just going to create another branch locally just to demonstrate git push again. This time, I'll call it new branch 2, and I'm just going to add some dummy changes and then commit it. If I run git push, I can see this warning message again about no upstream branch. Now, this can get quite annoying because you have to do this for every single branch that you create locally. The good news is there is now an easy way to configure this automatically so you don't have to manually set the upstream branch every time. To do this, I'm going to upgrade my Git version first because this feature is only available to versions 2.37 and above. If you're on Mac, you can easily do this by using brew and typing brew upgrade git. Upgrade, not update, as you can see with my silly mistake. When this is finished, you can check if you have the latest version by typing in git version. Now, I'm going to type git push again and I can still see the warning message. But if you look closely, there is another message here which says that if I want to set the upstream branch automatically, I can use the push.autoSetupRemote option. To configure this option so it's set to true, we need to add it to our git config. So I'm going to type git config followed by -- global because I want this to be a global change, then push.autoSetupRemote, and then set it to true. Now, if I type git push again, tada! The warning message has disappeared and the upstream branch has been created automatically. And that is pretty much it for this video. I've shown you how to use git push to push your local changes to a remote repository and a quick demo of git pull. I've also demoed how you can configure the auto setup remote option so that Git will automatically set up the remote branch for you. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this.